Hi, and thanks for tuning in. In this lesson, we're going to explore food and nutrients. But first, the learning objectives. You can explain what foodstuffs are. You can state the functions of nutrients in food. You can name 6 groups of nutrients and list their function. And you can state the function of dietary fiber in food. Okay, let's start simple. All the products that you eat or drink are foodstuffs. And here you can see lots of examples. And foodstuffs can be plant or animal in origin. So even if you don't eat the animal itself, like for example cheese or milk, it still counts as animal produce. Now, what's the most interesting in this topic is what food contains. So what's in the food, and that are the nutrients. Food contains nutrients, and those are substances that your body needs for energy, growth, and recovery. And these nutrients can have 4 different functions in your body: fuel, building materials, reserves, and protection. And of course, some nutrients have many more roles and functions, but for now we'll stick to these 4. Now let's briefly go through them. And we'll start with fuel. Fuel provides energy, and you need this energy to move, to keep your body warm, and to regulate all sorts of processes inside your body. Building materials are the building blocks needed for growth, development, and, for example, repairing wounds or other damage. Then reserves are stocks that aren't needed straight away as fuel or building materials, but they can be stored in your body. For example, glucose is stored as glycogen in the liver and muscles, but fat is also another example of a reserve substance. Then we have protective substances, and these help prevent you from getting ill. For instance, if you go too long without vitamin C, you can develop scurvy. And scurvy used to be common on ships during the great voyages of discovery from the 15th century onwards. And what happened there? Sailors mainly ate dried meats, fish, and hard ship's biscuits or something. But all these products lack vitamin C, and fresh fruit and vegetables were rare because they spoiled quickly. Now, without enough vitamin C, the body becomes unbalanced, and this can cause bleeding under the skin, swollen, red, and fragile gums, also severe pain and weakness. These are all symptoms of scurvy. And for many sailors, scurvy meant a slow and painful death. Historians estimate that since 1500, around 2 million sailors died from it. But protective substances also include minerals that keep processes like your nervous system work properly. So we've looked at the functions nutrients can have, but now let's examine the nutrients themselves and see what roles and functions they have. There are 6 groups of nutrients: fats, vitamins, carbohydrates, minerals, proteins, and water. And here's a mnemonic to help you remember them based on the first letter of each nutrient. Fat, vampires chase mini pizzas wildly. Sounds a little bit unusual, but maybe it can help you. Let's begin with fats. Here are some foods that contain lots of fat, and the functions of fat: fuel, building materials. For example, your cell membranes are largely made of fat, and reserves. And in some animals, fat can also act as insulation, like in this walrus. Next up, vitamins. Functions of vitamins: building materials and protection. Now, here you see an image of blood clotting. vitamin K plays a key role here, and your body needs it to produce clotting factors. And without those clotting factors, blood can't clot. Blood can't clot properly, and even small injuries can become dangerous. A well-known example is rat poison. Certain types of rat poison work by reducing vitamin K in the body, and this stops blood clotting and causes internal bleeding. Yeah, and of course we already talked about vitamin C and scurvy. Now, here you see is nitrous oxide, and it's also known as laughing gas. It's famous for its short light high, but it also has a lesser known effect. It changes vitamin B12, so actually it makes vitamin B12 inactive in the body. So what happens? Laughing gas changes the molecular the structure and of vitamin B12. So this stops it from doing its job, and with regular use, you can end up with a shortage of active vitamin B12. Now, a deficiency can cause nerve damage, tingling, and numbness, especially in the legs, muscle weakness, and in severe cases, even problems with walking. So watch out with laughing gas. Carbohydrates include sugar, such as glucose, starch, and glycogen, and the functions are fuel, building materials. A large part of our DNA literally contains sugar. Reserves, for example, glycogen stored in the liver. So those are the functions of carbohydrates. Minerals are often referred to as salts, and the functions, building materials. Here you can see a microscopic image of bone tissue. Calcium, for instance, also a mineral, is needed to build bones. But minerals just don't help building bones. They're also important for other functions. They, for example, support vital functions in the body, like the nervous system. You can think of calcium, copper, potassium, and magnesium. So they have, yeah, they also have a very important protective role. Now let's move on to proteins. Here are some foods rich in protein. Proteins act as building materials. About 20% of your muscles are made of protein, but protein also help with the blood clotting. Fibrin, which is essential for clotting, is a protein, for example. And then finally, water. Your body is approximately 60% made of water, so it is a very important building material. But it also has other functions. Here you can see the skin, and you need water to sweat, which helps cool your body down. But water is also the most important transport and solvent in your body. Nutrients, their building blocks, vitamins, minerals, all those examples are carried through the blood, which is mostly made of water. So with water you can transport all these nutrients to all your organs. Now, here you can see all the functions of all nutrients in one overview. And if you like, you can pause the video if you want to write it down, or you can just message me on TikTok or Instagram if you'd like to have the full PowerPoint presentation. Now, finally, dietary fiber. It's a collective name for vegetable materials that your body cannot digest. And they are a part of the carbohydrate group. So fibers are plant-based components that your body can't break down or use, and they are excreted again. But if if your body just throws it out, why are they important? Well, many fibers absorb water and swell up in the stomach or in the intestines. So this makes your food or your stool firmer, so it can be kinetic and move more easily through the intestines. But fibers also give you a feeling of fullness, so you don't get hungry again so quickly. Now, this kneading is called peristalsis, and fibers are essential for healthy peristalsis. The muscles of the esophagus, stomach, and intestines knead the food, pushing it in the right direction, and that is peristalsis, and that's why these fibers are so important for your for your peristalsis. And that's it for today. I hope you found this useful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.